Fujifilm is watching this video, I've been told by Fujifilm that they do watch my videos. At least the ones on Fujifilm, probably. At least those. Something that's greatly lacking in the X Pro 2, XT2, and XT20, and it really does need to be there. Now, for focus peaking, by the way, Fuji focus peaking is certainly far superior to Sony. I mean, recently I was testing out the A9, and I thought, you know, Sony focus peaking is probably just as good as Fujifilm. It might even be slightly better. It's not as good. The throw is, when you're actually fine adjusting, I mean, it jumps back and forth. In Fujifilm, you can see it rock right to the point you want. So I was actually surprised that Fujifilm is superior on peaking. Now, Fuji has, you know, red high and low, and blue and white high and low. Split screen, yada yada. One thing that's greatly lacking, I've been outside shooting all day today. Half the time, I was shooting off the viewfinder at waist level and manually focusing a lens, but also too during bright light and looking through the viewfinder, not off the LCD screen. Even white high or any color is just insufficient, especially, you know, like a really bright light. And this has been an issue for more than a few people. And I know this feature can be added in firmware. I know that it can be. What needs to happen, especially, you know, it's if you are using focus peaking, or those out there that use focus peaking, know this for a fact. Even looking through the viewfinder sometimes can be difficult on seeing where your peaking is showing up under really bright lighting situations or with certain lenses. What needs to be added in firmware on the XT2 and X Pro 2 and XT2, yada yada, is a greatly expanded and obnoxious, if you will, peaking. Now, when we're talking about even really shallow depth of field at, you know, say 6 feet or more, even like on a f1.8 or f1.5 lens like I was using today, what the firmware change would be is whether it's red, blue, or white, you have a peaking for extreme peaking. What this would mean that instead of the high setting, it would be magnified by 3-4 times. Now what that would do, it would do two things. It would actually cause the peaking to be so large that it would blow out the point that it is you're focusing on. But that doesn't matter at all because you know what the hell it is you're focusing on. Say I was focusing on a leaf at 6 feet at f1.8 and I was looking through the viewfinder, really bright situations, or even looking down like a twin lens reflex and just focusing off the screen. In any setting currently, the peaking does not work, and this has been an issue with many manual focus lenses. In any color too, so I know it's not just a color choice. There needs to be an option, at least one option, it doesn't have to be all the colors, where peaking relative to a high setting, whether it's red, blue, or white, needs to be 4 or 5 times as large. Now that would make it really obnoxious to look at, but at least it would be visible, as it is currently under those situations where focusing off the LCD in bright light where, you know, you don't have a black hood to throw over your head out in bright sunlight. You could easily see, instead of like a fine line, where this would be expanded greatly to be, you know, kind of like a Sharpie marker. Instead of drawing a thin line with a pencil, one of those fat, wide Sharpie markers where you sure can see that. And being able to see that either through the viewfinder, it has been an issue to see through the viewfinder or the LCD. Fujifilm does need to add this to their firmware. And there's also another really good reason why Fujifilm should add this. A, it would take their best focus peaking, which they do have the best focus peaking currently, and make it even better. But it would also strongly encourage other people to purchase a Fujifilm system for peaking with their non-Fujifilm or old, you know, Pentax, whatever the hell old lenses it is that they're using. Because other people have this issue too, and I know it can be added in firmware. The only thing I would have to do is take the current high peak setting for white, not change that, but take the parameters for that and make it a lot wider. In other words, you're just drawing out a huge boundary between the current peaking line, which is too damn thin and too damn weak to see outdoors, and telling the firmware to expand that visible parameter. Say the white line was this big, it would make the white line or the red line or the blue line. And you just choose one color. Much fatter. And that way you would know that you would nail it. Even if it's just like on a really shallow depth of field, close up, like a flower is right here, you're at f1.4. You know, you say you only want to focus on this piney stamen of the inside of the flower. Even with that really fat line, if you could see the peaking off the LCD or through the viewfinder where you normally would not, you still know that you would nail it. And that is a really important addition Fujifilm does need to add to their system. It would actually increase the interest in the system because people then could use their old lenses on the Fuji. And there's a lot of Voigtlander lenses. Now, this is also important because Fujifilm sells a Leica M mount to Fuji X mount adapter. And I know for a fact, first-hand experience, that a lot of those Leica M lenses and Voigtlander Leica M mount lenses, under any circumstances, they don't have good peaking on the Fujifilm system, even though Fujifilm's peaking system is #1. By adding this feature in firmware, that would make the camera even more desirable, customers more happy, and it would be a really simple addition and update. Fujifilm, this isn't my opinion, this does need to be added to the Fujifilm system of X-T2, X-Pro 2, XE2, yada yada, X-T20. It does. This is not my belief or feeling. This really does need to be added, and I know it can be done in firmware. This is an important addition that Fujifilm needs to add. I hope you're listening, Fujifilm. And even if you're not, I'm going to forward this video to you. You really should do this. It's an extremely good idea. Very wise idea. From first-hand experience, I can tell you this would be a welcome addition. It would just be one additional focus peaking parameter to have within the focus peaking options that currently exist. Thank you so much for watching. Catch you later. Thank you, Fujifilm.